Good morning, y'all. It's Wednesday morning. It's hot, and one of our pestle fans went out yesterday afternoon. Lovely. But you know what? I take a great deal of pleasure knowing after this month the heat will be over, and I will be scrambling for somewhere to store his fans for the winter. Now, yesterday I've seen on Instagram that little girl named Gracelynn Stitch, I think it was. I'll put the link below. Has been returned to her family. Now I didn't cover her, but I am going to talk about this for a simple reason. It shows, in a way, it reaffirms your faith in humanity. It reaffirms that we as human beings haven't completely become an empty, narcissistic, materialistic shells. That some of us do care enough to notice when a child is missing. Child shows up somewhere, and we know they're missing. We care enough to look. Well, with that, my congratulations to Gracelynn's family. I certainly wish y'all all the best. This beautiful child being returned is a blessing indeed. Now, let's talk about some more serious issues. Alright. Over the last few years, we have seen one staged event after another and another and another. Now, I call them staged events because every time you turn around, it's the same victims that show up in each event. Now, these people are either the unluckiest travelers in human history, or they're actors. You had one girl that showed up at the Boston bombing. There's a couple events in Europe she showed up to. And it just keeps going on and on and on. Now, what is the oligarch's solution? More gun control. Excuse me, but I don't remember. I'm trying to think the last time in a real world scenario a gun loaded itself, aimed itself, and pulled its own trigger. It hasn't happened. Guns don't kill. People kill. They load the gun, they pick it up, they aim it, they pull the trigger. And now, if I sound irate, it's because all these oligarchs and their lap bitches can seem to do is pass more laws. I have said from the beginning, every couple of years, we need to take these laws, brush the dust off of them, read them, update them, and enforce them. Set a date to when the amendments will be enforced, so people have maybe say 6 months to understand that if you do this now will be the consequences and the additional consequences. We need to keep modernizing our laws so they keep up with modern society. Now, let's go to our articles. Oh, and what do I see here? Moscow Times. Russian man faces 20 years in U.S. prison on arms smuggling charges. You see, here's the thing. When CIA and the military does all this, they smuggle guns. Oh, wait a minute. They're not smuggling guns, Tracy. They are generating revenue. They are training rebels, not terrorists. What kind of hokey crap is that? This man probably offered a better deal than what CIA and military intelligence complex was going to offer. So now he's going to be serving 20 years in jail because he tried to give a better deal. It's just asininely stupid once again. Now, Russian Herald had a picture that I remember seeing everywhere. Gorbachev says end to INF treaty, undermine global security. And it is a picture of when Mikhail Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan signed the INF agreement in 1987. That deal took 6 years to put together. Now, if you want to see this on Facebook, you're going to get a link to a similar article, but it's going to be out of a Malaysian paper. Because Facebook won't let me put Russia Herald on. Even though it's the same thing, and it's the same one everyone else is covering, but they tend to, Russia Herald tends to have a little bit better record of being honest. Let's face it. Alright, now let's get into Sputnik. Bank of America warns China's purchase of Iranian crude could trigger oil market crash. Are they trying to warn, or are they planting a seed? I think they're planting a seed. Because the recent Brentwood meeting for next year is estimating that it's going to drop. When crude prices drop, the price goes up at the pump. Because it costs more to pump, process, move across the world. Because we're too damn lazy to get our own oil here in America. And then you also got to think about the fact that with that oil, we also get our gas. We get the diesel, and we get regular gas. This is why we need to start finding some alternatives to oil. Start getting ready to move away from oil and all this stuff. Now, here's the deal. They are defying the sanctions. Well, first of all, the sanctions don't make two hills in hell. Because the sanctions were not put in place by the International Court. They are the ones that put sanctions that are enforced across the world. And people have to go by. So, Trump's sanctions, whatever. It don't matter. They do not matter. Now, oh my God. Here's another one. China's ban on U.S. agriculture hurts American farmers and Trump's re-election bid. I couldn't care less about his re-election bid because I'm not voting for him. He's a schmuck. And there's also an article and a link I'm going to give you where RT really explains what currency manipulation is and how it works. And I hope you will take time to read it because it's quite interesting. It really breaks it down in language that the average person can understand without feeling like you're reading, Dick and Jane went up the hill kind of garbage. Great. Cat hair, I'm on Dr. Pepper. Lovely. Now, what exactly is currency manipulation? It is when one country devalues their currency in order to avoid paying taxes on it. And guess what? You and I are the ones paying taxes. The government's not paying it. We are. So we end up paying more for taxes, for money that's not even worth half of what we're paying for taxes. Okay, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And also, global stock markets may crash as U.S. trade war with China escalates. I would not be surprised if that is the goal. Again, there's a seed that's being planted. Now, let's go to our last article. You're going to love this one. Over $30 billion of Venezuela's assets stolen on Trump's orders, an official person said. Honestly, I'm not surprised, okay? Trump is quintessential New York City douchebag. He's arrogant, he's brash, and I've never really cared for him. The only reason I voted for him is because he knows how to establish employment. When he puts his mind to it, he could do full-time quality employment with health benefits, paid vacation, a paid sick leave if necessary. You know, those kind of things that people used to have. If he really put himself to it, he could do this. But he's not going to. So, that's pretty much it for today. Again, let's kind of recap. These so-called slaughters are staged events. They're not real. Please do not get sucked into the drama. Also, I am not following the Democrat debates. I couldn't care less about them, honestly. Think of this as a stick, okay? You got your Republicans here, the Democrats here. And it doesn't matter how you move the stick around. They're all a part of the same oligarchical stick. That's it. That's all they are. And as soon as people here understand this and start seeing what the real problem is, it's not Republican, Democrat, left, right, conservative, liberal. All that's are just security blanket words that are thrown at us, pushed at us, to make us want to be at each other's throats. And the sooner we can move away from this and start focusing on where the real problem is, well then, look at Washington, D.C., that is. Now, something you need to... I'm not advocating violence, okay? Really, I'm not. Do I have all the answers? The only thing I think of, really, is if people who work within the government started working to tear it down so we could rebuild what we should have instead of this fascist crap we're stuck with right now, there's going to be a wall. And it's not going to be to keep the bad guys out. Because, my friends, they're already here. They're called politicians. Politicians can make an M13 member look like a saint. Seriously, they can't. That wall is going to be just like the Berlin Wall that divided East and West Germany. It's going to be that all over again. Because when you look at history, the thing that started done is East Germany started getting isolated away from West Germany. And then the wall went up. It was a socialism protection. This is going to be a capitalism protection source. But it's not going to do nothing but trap us in. That's it. And we better start understanding this now, before it's too late. With that, I'm really going to stop here because I got another video to do that's going to be on Scratch Kitchen today. You'll be here tomorrow on Canning Project. Yes, finally. I will see you canners tomorrow.